Hey guys, first time in a while since I've done YouTube, and I had terrible lighting because it's early in the morning, but I wanted to try and start 2017 with doing more YouTube, being more active on social media, and just trying to get some confidence up, So, as the title suggests, I'm going to be talking about the time I got proposed to. And this is obviously a story time video, but it's one that I feel like should be talked about because it's not just about getting a marriage proposal. It's a lot more to that, but let me explain. So this is not with my boyfriend, by the way. This was before I met my boyfriend. I was on different dating sites because I'm a busy college student or busy graduate student now, and the only thing you could really do when you're working, going to school, and trying to get your life together is to go on dating sites. And in this day and age, I feel like it's not that bad to be going on a dating site. You're getting yourself out there, you make new friends, whatever. And I have friends who have gotten into great relationships through dating sites, whether it's through Tinder or whatever. But I was on this one site specifically for alternative looking people because it's kind of people I'm attracted to. And I was on that site and there were different people approaching me, different people of colors, and I'm very open to making all kinds of friends. And I wasn't that serious when it came to online dating because I got tired of all the BS. Anyway, so there was this one guy, and I'll be honest, he came off a little creepy at first. There's only 2 pictures that were up, and that kind of thing, you start to wonder about whether or not they're real, and if you're being catfished and all that drama. But I talked to him anyway because he messaged me first, and I am a bitch, but I'm not that much of a bitch to not reply back to people. So I replied back. We had a nice conversation going, and we were talking about video games. We were talking about cars, like all things that I like, because I used to be a super huge tomboy, still am. But yeah, so we were talking about all this stuff that we had in common, and I have to admit, we hit it off. And we were going about this for maybe a month or 2, and he told me that he liked me. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you seem nice. Like, I didn't have that romantic attraction just yet. And I still had this weird, like, paranoia of, like, oh, he's probably just catfishing me and all that bullshit. So, he decided to Skype me. And this is where things kind of go for the worse, and it's when I start to realize I definitely don't like this guy. He Skyped me, and I was at my best friend's house at the time, and she was at in another room, but we Skyped, and right when I hear his voice, he hears mine, I see his face. Like, for one, he wasn't an ugly guy, he was alright. Like, everyone has their own definition of what fits their type, and he wasn't exactly my type, but, I try not to judge that way. In my view, at least I could be friends with him. Until he told me, "You sound like a guy." It's like, what the fuck? Like, I know I have a deeper voice than most girls, and most people tell me that when they see my pictures, in comparison to when they hear me on the phone or when they meet me in person, I have a deeper voice than they expected. But not too many people tell me I sound like a man. So, automatically, huge turnoff. And I just tried to keep the conversation going as long as I could. And apparently he thinks that we hit it off. I viewed it as he offended me, and I'm gonna try to let it go because, we're hitting it off through texts and messages and stuff like that. So we cut off the Skype call, and maybe a week later, like, we're talking within this week, but he starts sending me more messages about what his background is. He tells me, he has a rich family. He's working to become some, I believe it was doctor. It's been a while. Like, apparently he just has a really good background, and he has his own house, and if I wanted, I could stay there. Creepy. But I just let him talk it out. I was just like, okay, cool, like, good for you for having such a great life, you know? And the thing is, it's like, this is the part that irritated me. So, throughout my whole dating life, I've been hit on just because I'm Asian. I've been hit on because they found out I'm bisexual. And it's not like those are their types. They were hitting on me because they only wanted one thing. And believe your parents when they say this, a lot of guys only want to, they want to fuck you. It's as simple as that. And they were stereotyping me because I'm a exotic Asian. And, oh, this girl's bisexual. She can do all this other stuff. And it's like, no, fuck that. Like, I deserve love. And, like, I don't deserve that shit. So, this guy, he told me, oh, I would love you for a wife. And I was just like, okay, like, cool, but we're not there yet. Because I've only known this guy for a little over a month. And he was telling me, like, yeah, I really want to marry you. And I was just like, okay, like, how about we take things slow? Like, I don't even know if I like you that way. And he basically said straight up, like, will you marry me? And I told him no, because, like, this is way too soon. I barely know you. And honestly, you seem kind of like a show-off. And the fact that you told me that I sound like a man, not exactly a great way to, get into my heart or my pants. And he basically started to go on saying, like, oh, you would make the perfect wife. You could stay at home. You don't have to work. You can cook meals for me. You can teach my kids to be traditionally Asian. And this is starting to get a little weird. So I let him, talk a little bit more. And he started to go on and on about me being the perfect Asian wife. And I told him, okay, well, that's good for you that you view me that way. But I am working at this time, I was finishing off my bachelor's degree. And not only just one bachelor's degree, I was technically a double major. And I told him that I wanted to continue with my education, and this is my priority. And I'm not saying that I'm not gonna put love in my life, but education is just, like, I take pride in my education, basically. And I worked hard at, being who I am and going for what I want to study. And right after I told him about me finishing college and wanting to continue on further into graduate school, he was just like, oh, well, you don't need that. And I can always pay for us to live together. And I told him, that's not the point. I'm a pretty independent woman. My mother raised me that way. And, I don't want to be a housewife. This is about me not being the whole career woman kind of thing, but it's for my own pride. It's for, like, I just work hard to be good at what I do and what I love. And I love to write. I love to do research. I went to college for a reason. And he was saying, oh, you should just drop out, marry me, and have my children, cook for me, and we can do all these things. And he was listing off things that a typical Asian wife would do. So at this point, I was fed up. I could not be friends with someone who would view an Asian woman this way. And he also told me that he wasn't comfortable with the fact that I'm bisexual. And the thing is, it's not even about that. It's, like, bisexual people can completely be loyal. They can like love one person. They're just, you know, attracted to other people. Like, I can sit here and be like, Heidi Klum's one hot, like, she hot. And just, he got so pissed off at me when I told him, like, I am not interested in being his Asian housewife. Like, he can go find someone else for that shit. Like, if he wants to be friends, that's fine, but I can't be in a relationship with someone who thinks like this. And he got super pissed off at me. So, I have a bitchy side. And when it comes to dating specifically, if you come off the wrong way to me, I have a fucking sailor's mouth. So I told him to go fuck off, and he can go, like, find some other girl to be his little housewife, and you know what? Enjoy yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go find yourself that Asian wife that you want, and, you know, enjoy your life, because it's not gonna be a happy one. Like, I don't give a shit how much money you have. I don't give a shit if your family is loaded. I don't give a shit if you are a doctor or whatever. You have no right to be talking to any woman like that. Okay? So, yeah. First time I got proposed to, said no. And I'm completely happy with my decision, because I believe it was a couple months after is when I met my boyfriend. So, yeah. Life is good. Don't need that motherfucker. And sorry, background's super messy, but I hope you enjoy the story time. This is the first time I'm really ranting to a camera, but yeah, hope you enjoy it. Bye. Enjoy life, be yourself. Restricted happiness is better than freedom of solitude. Bye. Yeah.